China knows something, and that's why they are buying up all of the food that they can from the international marketplace. We're seeing runs at the supermarket, and the Chinese people know that a change is coming. Whether this is because of the suspicion that the Omicron variant of the COVID-19 SARS-CoV-2 disease will cause a shutdown across the world just due to that many people being sick at one time, or this is because of something larger, coming climate extremes, or the fact that Russia said that the United States is going to pay dearly for any problems that they see with Ukraine. We don't know the exact reason, but what we do know is that every time China has either shut down their country or made changes to the way that they buy and sell goods, including food, the rest of the world has suffered. So once again, we see China stockpiling food. We see China purchasing massive amounts of grain and other goods from across the world. And we see the Chinese citizens, the people of China, purchasing food in numbers that they never have before. And so we have to ask ourselves, what is coming next? It is time for you right now to once again make those purchases. It's time for you to make sure that you have your rice in 5-gallon buckets inside of your house. Have your flour in 5-gallon buckets inside of your house. Remember, just one bag of rice is going to give you 30,000 calories. And yes, it's bland, and no, it's not nutrient dense. It is a bed for you to add your canned food, your fresh fruits and vegetables, whatever it might be onto. Even if your diet could only consist of white rice, whatever forageable foods that you could have, that carbohydrate base would keep you alive. Remember that, and go out and make those purchases. Get any canned food that you and your family will eat. I want you to take away from your mind that idea that if somebody's hungry enough, they're going to eat anything. Because while that has an amount of truth to it, the reality is that a mental health crisis starts to come on when we don't have access to the foods that we want or like. Look at the American population, look at the populations around the world, and how dieting has such a profound effect on people. We are addicted to food. And when people sever that addiction because they don't have access to that food, there will be problems. People riot over not having a couple of days worth of food. I don't want you and your family to be in that kind of position. What I do want is for you to be ready for whatever this world has to throw at you next. So in all things that you can right now, please go and get those over-the-counter medications that you need. Please go and stock up on that rice, that flour, those oats, the sugar. Don't pay any attention to the people who are going to be like, sugar is the enemy, blah, blah, blah. They're eating sugar every day and they're just delusional. So for everybody else that needs to make this world go round, make sure that you have the ability to get your kids a cake on their birthday, to make one for yourself. Make sure that you have the ability to eat a healthy diet. We make sugar a part of maybe what, 5-10% of our diet. Kelly said, if even that, refined sugar. But don't doubt for a second that I don't have sugar in my pantry. Make sure you also have things like honey. They say that you can still eat the honey that is buried with the Egyptians today. It is a superfood. Not only can it be used on wounds, not only can it be used for diabetics who have problems, it can be used and stored for decades. Don't worry about the elitists that tell you have to have raw honey or this specific honey from this bee's spit that only takes place on Hawaii. No, get any honey that you can, because time is of the essence right now. It is time for you to step up your preparedness and to get ready for the next couple of months, maybe even the next couple of years. Imagine if we were just conditioning ourselves right now, as an athlete conditions themselves for that longer run, that marathon. Imagine if we are just conditioning ourselves right now for the next couple of years, and how bad or turbulent the waters will be at that point in time. But also, we are ready to move. You never know when mobility is going to be the thing that saves your life. And so we have our own actions and reactions planning. That reaction is to something like a very prominent threat to your local environment. I have people that I'm going to go pick up and take with me as we go. So just have your plans in order, because the time that you are going to need them is here. What if it was nothing more than inflation goes out of whack and you lose your job? How much better will your family be? How much less stress will you have when you don't have to eat ramen every single day and things for the most part are just normal like they always have been? They won't think that there is anything wrong because you prepared, because you got ready. So as China once again takes that leap and they start stockpiling food and they start running the grocery stores dry and the marketplaces dry of all goods, it's time for us to take notice. It hasn't been very many years since Russia did a similar act, told all of their citizens to get ready. And in retrospect, look at where we're at today. Russia told their citizens to have 6 months worth of food and goods. The government of the United States of America would love for you to remain eternally dependent upon their help. But it's time to help yourself, and it's time to help your friends and your family. Stock up, if not for you, then for somebody else.